Hello, my name is Gary Weiss, and I'm a professor at Fordham University. And today I'll be discussing some research I conducted in collaboration with my colleague, Dr. Daniel Leeds, and our two graduate students, Mason Guyen and Carla Dominguez. And the name of our paper is Identifying Hubs in Undergraduate Course Networks Based on Scaled Co-Enrollments. The goals of our work are to apply graph theory to learn about the relationship between courses that are frequently taken together. We're going to focus on hub courses that are well connected to other courses, but we're going to also compute network metrics to provide insight over a group of courses. A group of courses or a subnetwork could correspond to an academic department or maybe an area like humanities courses or STEM courses. The acquired knowledge we get will help with course planning, understanding course structure in different departments, and maybe some as yet unknown benefits. Our data consists of 8 years of undergraduate course enrollment data from Fordham University, where we have about 10,000 undergraduate students per year. The raw data record represents one student in one class with their final grade. We take that data, we aggregate it to the course pair level, and we record the number of students who take the pairs of classes, not necessarily in the same semester. And when we're done, we have about 78,000 course pair records that have at least 20 common students. Then we form a network graph. We do this by viewing each course as a node, and then we connect nodes with an edge if the number of common students taking both courses sometime during their Fordham career is above a threshold. We use two different types of thresholds. One is a static one, that one is the simplest one, and it's just a constant value. And for this study, it's 20. We also have a dynamic threshold, which includes edges only if the co-enrollment proportion exceeds some specified threshold. You can check the paper for that threshold. And we also have at least 20 common students. The difference is the dynamic threshold is going to remove many edges from courses that have associations with other courses simply because they're just so popular and so many students take them. And that leaves us with the more interesting edges. This table shows our network analysis metrics. They're all very well known. So I'll just point out the top three are computed over a group of nodes, and the bottom three are computed on individual nodes. Here we see our course network results. Here we have the departments and the associate categories. We have the static threshold and the dynamic threshold with their various network statistics. If we look at the results over all courses, not just a specific department, we see, for example, that the density is very low because the courses are not very well connected. If we look at individual department, we'll see that the density is much higher. If we compare the results for the dynamic versus static threshold, we'll see that when we use the dynamic threshold, we have fewer edges because popular courses may lose some edges, and we have lower density and lower cluster coefficient. If we look at the STEM departments, we'll see that they generally have a higher density and denser clusters, and we believe this is due to them having more prerequisites and better defined course orderings. So now we're going to look at the hub analysis results. This table shows the top hubs based on the static threshold and then the dynamic threshold. Many of the top static hubs are core courses, so it's just based on their popularity. That's not so much true for the dynamic threshold. If we look at the three centrality metrics and then look at the combined rank, which is based on those three centrality metrics, we see that they're very similar for the static threshold, but not for the dynamic threshold. If we look at the bottom table here that shows us the distribution of edges by the different areas, we'll see that for the static threshold, humanities and STEM have the most hub edges, whereas for the dynamic threshold, it's the STEM courses that have the most hub edges. And if we want to look at some more specific results, if we look at the dynamic threshold, we see that the humanities courses are more linked to STEM courses than to other humanities courses, which seems a little bit odd. And this is due, when we delve into the data, to courses like Intro to Anthropology, which is a humanities course, but which is often linked to STEM courses. If you find this work interesting, I encourage you to read over our paper, since we really didn't have much time to discuss our actual results. to look at our CGAN tool, which is used to generate the analysis in this paper and is publicly available, and to also check out our 2 other EDM papers that are based on the same data set, one of which also does a somewhat similar network analysis, but in this case, the edges are formed based on the grade correlation between the different courses. And our other paper is looking at course sequencing effects and their impact on student grades. Thank you for your attention.